Her Cowgirl Strength is here today at a cutting horse show with Layne Kiker. Layne has been around horses pretty much all your life, right?
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about how you first got into riding horses and your first business.
Okay. I started in horses basically watching my grandfather when I was a little bitty girl. He was a horse trader, and he would go down to the local auction. He would buy horses, he would bring them, put them in his backyard, and he would sell them to people after they would ride them and work them and train them. And I was always in awe of him. And I lived in the city, and all of my cousins lived in the country. So I always considered myself the city cousin. And so I wasn't part of the horsey crowd, and my parents didn't haul me to horse shows like the rest of the relatives, and they did amazing things. They won like the National Collegiate Rodeo and all sorts of things like that. And here I am, the little city kid, just
tagging along.
Have a horse,
yeah,
have a horse in the backyard or whatever. So my passion started there, and really it started like, I was told when I was like 2 years old I could identify a horse, and fell in love with him little bitty in the car. My mother and father didn't like horses at all, so it was a big thing for them to get me a horse, but I begged. And when I was 8 years old, I got a really junky backyard horse. And she cut my leg up, ran away with me. I never had lessons, so the whole thing was a little bit of a train wreck, but I learned from it and just kind of kept progressing.
It didn't dissuade you?
No, because I had that passion, you know. And we even learned how to climb up the saddle, like for your stirrups, with the straps just to get on. Like, we were just little heathens, and we loved it, and that's what we wanted to do. So I always had that love, I always had that passion. I went to college, I got a doctoral degree, I actually became a chiropractor. And when I graduated, I had taken a part-time job at a big equestrian facility, teaching the Western lessons there. And I graduated, and the manager's job became open there. And I just walked right into it instead of going to seek a chiropractic job.
Wow.
And so suddenly I had like all these customers and all this business.
For riding?
For horseback, to teach kids how to ride. And what happened to me is my boss decided to pull out. So suddenly there were 40, 50, 60 customers that I could have. Without, breaking any rules.
Instant business.
Yes. So at that point, we bought a piece of land in Katy. I had a fiance at the time, and we bought, I think it's 13 acres in Katy. And it was just raw land, and so I bought a round pen. A little rickety round pen. And I taught lessons in that round pen with stalls that were so bad, they had lead ropes across them to keep my horses in.
Not a gate.
And no perimeter fencing. I mean, you want to talk about dangerous, girlfriend, we were dangerous.
So you started from the bottom.
From the bottom. And I was shocked that my customers left the fancy facility and came with me. But I was very passionate about helping them, and I guess they could feel it. And I was kind of the, up and coming and trying really hard.
It's important to find somebody who's doing it for passion, not just money and prestige.
Oh gosh, yeah. And so then came the hard days, and they were really, 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 really hard days, because I was alone doing all the stalls, all the lawn mowing, dragging the arenas, dragging the water hoses, interacting with the customers, teaching the lessons, dealing with sick horses. And back then, when I was young, I didn't know a whole lot about sick horses. So I had a lot of colics and stuff. Now I have very few, knock on wood. But I have very few because I've learned a lot of management tricks along the way. Actually, I want to tell y'all about that just so that I share it. But anyhow, so I slowly built the business, and now at this point, it has taught 9,000 people how to ride. I've got 9,000 waivers, and it's been 30 years. And I have customers all around the world. I've taught ladies from Japan. I taught the British consulate's wife.
Oh my.
I taught the Chinese people that were burning the papers in Houston. They actually rode with us. I've taught people from everywhere. And my farm is very multicultural. And it's very interesting that horses are a passion around the whole world. It
Absolutely.
doesn't matter where you come from. If you love a horse, you love a horse.
Okay.
So I started growing it, and what I did is I increased lesson sizes. So I would teach classes of 6 as long as I could do it safely, and I have an assistant and stuff. And then I started bringing on other little teachers, and we would just kind of kept very slowly over time growing the business to where it is today. And today I've got 31 employees, and
Wow.
about 40 horses,
Wow.
and many top of the world kids to my name. We showed at the Buckskin World Championships many years, and I have since then stepped back. About 10 years ago, I stepped back because it's a young man's sport. I mean, I'm in my 60s and I got a little tired, and the heat gets to me in Texas. But I've stepped back, but I still run it, and I still have the amazing thing.
So where is your property now?
I'm in Katy.
You're still in Katy?
Houston, yes.
Okay.
And so I'm in Katy, Texas, and the same original property.
Really?
And what was I going to tell you? The amazing thing though is the people that manage the business for me rode with me when they were 8 years old. So I trained my own workers, and they stayed with me, and they've taken
That
over.
says a lot about you and your character, your personality. There's so many people that quit trainers, quit jobs in general.
Right, they're
you know?
my family.
Wow,
Yes, they're my
that's
family.
awesome.
So, and that is one of the things that I value. If you're nothing without your help. You're nothing without your help. So no matter what kind of business you have, and let me tell you, as a boss, you cannot focus on petty things. Like, you can't say, oh my gosh, I'm missing the XYZ tool. You have to overlook things. And a lot of times I thought that maybe somebody had stolen something.
Yeah.
I would find that tool out near a fence post, and I was so glad I kept my mouth shut.
Oh, instead of blaming people.
Oh yeah. And so I learned very early on, keep your mouth shut, just sit back and watch.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell you another thing I learned too. Sometimes when you have big problems, don't address them right away. It blows things up more. What I like to do is kind of sit back and gently watch the situation and let the dust settle in business. And if you have to address it, step in and do it.
That's awesome.
That's
awesome
a
information.
gentle way of handling things that has really helped me
Okay.
keep my staff, keep my customers,
Yeah. That's great information.
Yeah. Oh, let me tell you real quick about colic.
Okay.
Because if
Everybody
I'd have done
needs-
this if I'd have done this a long time ago, it helped me so much. I rotate dewormers, so find out what worms are endemic in your area and rotate your dewormer. So about every 2 months I switch. And some people say you're overworming and causing a insensitivity to the wormer in the worms, but I still do it. It still works. We do a sand clear on our horses.
Okay.
Probably once every 2 months also.
Okay.
I feed alfalfa. A lot of colic is from gastric ulcers, and I have found that if you feed alfalfa or an alfalfa type of product, it'll cut the gastric acid that helps her stomach heal.
More so than hay.
Oh, definitely. It's the calcium buffer. The calcium buffers the acid in the stomach.
Okay.
The alfalfa has a lot of calcium in it. It's
Okay.
calcium rich.
Do you feed any hay?
You know what I'm feeding right now? I just now went off on a big experiment that seems to be working, which is shocking to me. I'm feeding a pellet that is alfalfa and orchard grass. It's, I think, 25% alfalfa. That's all. Now, we do feed a supplement because I don't trust anything to have all the minerals that a horse needs or, that kind of thing.
Okay.
But I'm not even feeding hay in the stalls. I also put out some round bales that are coastal, but that's just for the horses that'll go out in big groups to graze. But I have been amazed that my horses, and I have a very geriatric herd, I have horses that are like up to 30 years old, and everybody's holding really well with this, and I'm shocked. I was feeding a very fancy, expensive, high-end senior food, and I'm finding that I'm getting the same results, and the horses look beautiful and they're fat with this pellet. It's a mix. Yeah, and it shocked me.
Wow.
I didn't trust it at first, and I actually learned it from my cutting horse trainer.
Okay.
That's where I got it from.
Okay. And so speaking of cutting, you came out here today and you showed for the first time in 15 years.
Yes.
You got back into cutting.
Yes.
And you weren't really into cutting, were you?
No. I had taken some lessons 15 years ago, and I had shown one time at like a little club cutting, just one time, and then I showed at Brenham one time, and that was it. And I just back then I simply couldn't afford it. I had to focus on my business and everything else, so I quit and I just focused on hauling the kids to shows and taking care of them.
So you had a tough go today. Your mare was in heat.
Yes. Reggie will be our friend.
So you got to try and fix that problem.
Yes. Well,
will you continue cutting? Was this just like, oh, I tried it, that was cool?
No, I'll keep going.
You're gonna keep coming?
My husband's doing it and I want to do it with him.
Awesome.
I came from the horse show world, so I've shown for a lot and I've done the ranch horse some, but I just like the cattle classes. There's something about the cattle classes. It's like a great equalizer. It doesn't matter who you are. If you get a bad cow, you got a bad cow.
Yeah.
And so I like that aspect of it, that it doesn't matter who you are, where you come from. If you have a good cow, it's great, and if you have a bad cow, it's bad.
Right. So. Okay. All right. So as a woman who started her own business clearly from the bottom up, what would you say? Did you have any hurdles to cross as a female in the horse business? Because you've been in it a while before.
Yes.
Now women are a little more common to the horse world.
Thank heaven.
Yes. Did you have any obstacles, and what information can you give to a woman who wants to start out on something new?
The greatest obstacle I had is what I will tell you is the crabs in a bucket syndrome.
Okay.
And what that would be is little crabs are trying to come out of a bucket and another crab tries to pull them down.
Okay.
Other trainers were very mean to me and they would try to hurt me. And
Because do you think it was a jealousy in general or a female thing?
Both. It was probably
a little bit of both.
Across the board. It was very important to me when I started my business to stay independent and away from everybody, and I
do it how you want it.
I tried to not get involved in any local politics, any local foreign politics, anything. I tried to stay independent, peaceful, quiet, no drama, because life will give you drama.
It does.
And horses will give you drama.
Okay.
So, and plus you have little crying kids at horse shows. So,
there's enough going on.
We don't need to add to all the drama. And so I did that. Now, one thing I wish I did different and I felt different is I wish that my heart wasn't so sensitive to what people thought of me.
Okay.
I'm a people pleaser.
Sure.
And I feel like that makes you successful, but it makes your heart hurt.
Yeah.
And so, because if you can't please the whole world will not love you. And it doesn't matter who you are, how amazing you are. There's people that hate Dolly Parton, and she's shining rainbows. Yeah. So it's learning, and with age came more self-confidence.
Okay.
Where I finally started getting where I don't care. And like when I rode my horse today, I'm not ready for this. I've only practiced twice at the horse barn with the trainer. I wasn't ready. But if you don't jump in, you're not in. And so you've got to jump in, get in the game, and get going. And don't look backwards. I've had a lot of sad things happen to me, and you can't look back. Plan the future, think about the future, try to put the past to bed. We don't need the past. It won't help you. Learn from it, but put it to sleep.
Leave it.
Go
leave
forward.
it.
Yeah, leave the past.
Okay, cool. You have given us so much great information and wisdom. With age comes wisdom.
Thank you.
And it has been a pleasure meeting you today, and I will look for you in more cutting shows.
Yes, ma'am. I'll be there. Bye.
This is Layne Kiker on my right.